Today we're talking about how to write in slope-intercept form when you don't know what the b value is, or really when you don't necessarily know the slope either. Your steps are right up here. Step 1 today, you will first calculate the slope, m. Step 2, once you know the slope, you're going to plug in a point and then solve for the y-intercept, which is b. Once you've done that, then you can write an equation of the line in y equals mx plus b form, which remember is slope-intercept form. Let's go ahead and do example 1. What is the equation for the line through 3, 7 with a slope of 2? The first thing you need to do is calculate the slope, because again, we're trying to get it into this form. Y equals mx plus b. Calculate the slope. You were told that the slope is 2, so your m, we know already, is 2. Now you're trying to write the equation in y equals mx plus b, so you are going to plug in a point. Right here you have a point, -3, 7. -3 is x and 7 is y. So if I take y equals mx plus b, since I know that x is -3, I'm going to put that in the x spot, and since I know 7 is y, I'm going to put that in the y spot. So I'll do this in I'll do the point in blue. 7 is y, my slope is 2, and my x value is -3. So I'm just taking it and putting it in the equation since that's the line that goes through that point. And now I'm going to solve for b. So I go ahead and multiply, and I get 7 equals -6 plus b. I'm solving for b, so to do that, I'm going to add 6, and then I get that b is 13. So now we can write the equation of the line since I know the slope, and the y-intercept, I can write it in y equals mx plus b. Y equals 2x plus 13. Okay, let's do another one. Write an equation of the line that passes through the points -4, 1 and 2, 4. First thing you do is find the slope. So remember with me that the slope is the change in y over the change in x. You can use the formula, or you can just figure out how are my y values changing. From 1 to 4, my y values are adding 3. From -4 to 2, they are adding 6. So my change in y over change in x for m is 3 over 6, and this simplifies because I can divide by 3. So then my actual slope is 1/2. Okay, we're going to use that in a little bit. So my slope is 1/2. So now you're going to plug in a point and solve for the y-intercept. So right now we know that y equals 1/2 x plus b. We're also plugging in a point. You can choose either one. I'm going to choose 2, 4. That way I don't have to deal with negatives. So if I'm using 2, 4, then two is my x, 4 is my y. I'm going to put 4 here since it's y. I'm going to put 2 here since it's x, and then we'll solve for b, which is why I don't have a number there. So we have to do this multiplication. 1/2 times 2 is 1. And then to keep solving for b, you would, I'm running out of room. Subtract 1 from both sides, and then we know that b is 3. So our slope m is 1/2, our y-intercept is 3. Now we plug it into the equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So to recap, you found the slope, you put the slope in the equation, you plugged in a point, and then you solved. For the y-intercept, and then you can write it in an equation. Example 3 looks kind of weird. It's in function notation, which remember just tells you inputs and outputs. So what you're saying here is that when I input -2, I output -3. When I input -6, I output +1. So that means that this is my x and this is my y, inputs, outputs. And then again x and y. So you can write this as 2 points. The first would be -2, -3. The second would be -6, +1. So you're writing the equation of the line. Remember, the first thing that you do is you find the slope. So we are going to figure out the change in y and the change in x. My change in y is +4 from -3 to 1. My change in x is -4. So to find m, that's a change in y over the change in x. That is going to be +4 over -4, which divides evenly to -1. Okay, we'll need that in a second. Now you're going to take y equals mx plus b, go ahead and put in your slope, and you're also going to choose a point. It does not matter which one you choose. I like this one today. So -6 is x, 1 is y. So 1 goes here, -6 goes here, and we're solving for the y-intercept, so we can write the equation. We do this multiplication right here. -1 times -6 is +6, and then you subtract 6, and you get -5. So b is -5. Take these two little nuggets of information, that the slope is -1, and the y-intercept is -5, and you write an equation. Last one. 4 years after a hedge maple tree was planted, its height was 9 feet. 8 years after it was planted, the hedge maple tree's height was 12 feet. So just like the last one, you can write 2 points from this. 4 years after the tree was planted, the height was 9 feet. 8 years after it was planted, the height was 12 feet. So let's write an equation. The first thing we need to do is find the slope. So my change in y, I left myself a lot of room, is adding 3. The change in x, from 4 to 8 adds 4. So my slope is going to be 3 over 4. Okay, so now we write that in an equation. Y equals 3/4 x plus b. And we're going to plug in a point. Again, doesn't matter which one you choose. This time I'll use 4, 9. Remember that the first number is x, the second number is y. So I'm going to put 9 here equals 3/4 times the x, which is 4, plus b. Okay, 3/4 times 4. You can put this over 1. Like, put this over 1 and then you multiply straight across. So this would give you 9 equals 12 over 4 plus b. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then you would subtract 3 to keep solving. And you get that b equals 6. So here's your two pieces of information. That means that your equation is going to be 3/4 x plus 6. Okay, the growth rate of the hedge maple tree. If we're talking about rate, then we are talking about the slope. Because slope is also the constant rate of change. The slope is 3/4. So that means that it is growing 3/4 of a foot per year, or you could say that it's growing 3 feet every 4 years. Okay, and then what was the height when it was planted? That would be, when it was planted is the starting point, so that would be the y-intercept, because it's where it's starting. So that would be 6 feet, because before it started growing, it was 6 feet tall.